For the past while that Brainrot has been popular, we've had plenty of Brainrot games come and leave the front page on Roblox. And now it seems like a new Brainrot game has hit the front page, and I'm talking about this game called Kick a Lucky Block. Recently, this game has been popping off, quickly gaining players, and now it even manages to sometimes have a higher player count than Steal a Brainrot, which technically makes it the most popular Brainrot games when it does that. The game is very new, the place itself being created less than a month ago, and its player count has only been recorded when it already had tens of thousands of players. And in just the past 7 days, you can see how much the player count has changed, going from less than 100,000 to well over 200,000. And to be honest, that's not something new. Take Escape Tsunami for Brainrots, which was the previous big Brainrot game. Its player count has also been recorded when it already had tens of thousands of players, and it also very quickly got into hundreds of thousands. And now that it's Kick a Lucky Block's turn to be a popular Brainrot game, which potentially could even start its own trend of Brainrot games, like what Escape Tsunami for Brainrots did, what exactly makes people want to play this game? When you join the game, it gives you a short tutorial which goes over basically everything you need to actually play. It gives you free upgrades and all of that so that you can easily get a new rarity of Brainrots, and that's when tutorial ends. Your main goal is to make more money to get higher kick power, which then allows you to get better Brainrots and make more money. The Brainrots also have a chance to be mutated like in many other games. When you reach a certain amount of kick power, you can rebirth to increase how much money you make. That is basically all about the game, at least for now. The game feels both similar and different compared to other Brainrot games, but I feel like that is the case with all the Brainrot games, and that still gets them a lot of players. This game managed to get over 400,000 players last week. But this time, it got even higher, with 4.5 million people being interested for the update event, and player count went well over 1 million. A pretty big milestone which actually makes it top 4 highest peak player count Brainrot game on Roblox. Now that is obviously thanks to admin abuse. After all, that is how all of the other Brainrot games get their peak player count this high up. But as any other game that has a high player count, there has to be a reason why so many people play Kick a Lucky Block. Right? Well, the fact it uses Brainrots and Lucky Blocks is pretty obvious. Those two are combined in nearly every Brainrot game. Lucky Block's been around for many years, and now they are used in a lot of Brainrot games. In this case, Kick a Lucky Block has the word Lucky Block in it and not Brainrot. But it works pretty much the same. Different tiers of a Lucky Block the further you get, and higher tiers means higher rarity Brainrots. And while I've been showing you some gameplay footage, you probably noticed other similarities to other games. Let's start with the most obvious, the escaping tsunamis when you save the Brainrot. They specifically chose to use water and tsunamis, a little reminder of Escape Tsunami for Brainrots. And another thing they took from that game is leveling up Brainrots at your base. Even if Escape Tsunami for Brainrots wasn't first to do that, it definitely made it popular. Upgrading speed is also just like in Escape Tsunami for Brainrots. But gaining kick power is different. It honestly reminds me of Weightlifting Simulator 3, and apparently the original game isn't even on Roblox anymore, but I'm sure many of you played either it or games alike before. The reason I'm comparing this game to other games is to show that it uses many of the already proven to work ideas. It takes what is already shown to be interesting for people and combines those mechanics. In this case, it's mostly based on Escape Tsunami for Brainrots. But the way you escape the tsunamis is different. That's also why I said this game feels both similar and different to other Brainrot games. It reminds you quite a lot of other Brainrot games, but it still tries to be a bit different in, for example, how you get the Brainrots. And it does seem to work, at least right now. The most popular Brainrot games are not fully copying each other, but try to do something a bit differently. Or I guess most of them. Steal a Brainrot was the first actually big Brainrot game. Plants vs. Brainrots, which is now Plants and Brainrots, is nothing like other Brainrot games. Escape Tsunami for Brainrots also feels different compared to the other two, and you get the point. Now let's say Survival Lava for Brainrots isn't exactly unique, but it was led by two big content creators, which I feel like explains why it got so popular. Sure, some games that are basically reskins of each other can still get decently popular, but usually that has a side effect of an even shorter lifespan. While Escape Tsunami for Brainrots is clearly not doing as good as it was just 3 months ago. Survive Lava for Brainrots, which again is basically a copy of Escape Tsunami for Brainrots, is losing its player count even faster, now being at 4,000 players versus 150,000 2.5 months ago. Or this one, Swing Obby for Brainrots, which also is more of a reskin game of Escape Tsunami for Brainrots, it went from 70,000 to less than 5,000 players in 1.5 months. But back to Kick a Lucky Block, I'm basically sure that this game will have the same faith as other Brainrot games. While it does try to be different in some ways, the gameplay itself doesn't feel like it would last long until the player gets bored. I've spent some time in the game, and it felt like it was getting repetitive to me simply because there's not much else to do. When you need to save the Brainrot, you just run in a straight line, no extra things to collect on your way, or stuff like speed boosters to make it more fun. Gaining kick power does have this button which speeds things up, but it's not exactly the most entertaining thing to do. Overall, though, the game does look decent visually, and monetization seemed to be pretty normal. The 1 in 1,000 Brainrot from Robux Lucky Block might be controversial, and making the pack look cheaper than it is when there is nothing to base the price off. But it's nowhere close to being as bad as faking sales in Escape Tsunami for Brainrots, which is allegedly illegal to do. They did remove that months later, though. But unlike Escape Tsunami for Brainrots, this game did not get sold to something like Do Big Studios, at least yet. Well, you know, that one company that buys out games and monetizes them for as much profit as possible, in some cases even killing the games off. The people working on Kick a Lucky Block actually seem to be a team that has been working on games together for some time already, each having their own groups for games they made together. But one thing that is similar to Escape Tsunami for Brainrots is that this game may start a new wave of Brainrot games. Earlier, I saw someone basically make the exact copy of Kick a Lucky Block on Twitter, and that is exactly what happened to Escape Tsunami for Brainrots. But in general, I doubt we'll see these games last any long either. Brainrot has been losing its popularity for months, each new big Brainrot game getting less players than previous one. Kick a Lucky Block won't reach the same player counts that Escape Tsunami for Brainrots did, and as I earlier mentioned, these kind of games have a short lifespan. Kick a Lucky Block is the new big Brainrot game, but now that even Roblox itself seem to be pushing against Brainrot games, I doubt we'll see this game perform any better than said Escape Tsunami for Brainrots, which, as you know, has been losing a good chunk of players every month. Anyway, make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. I would really appreciate that. You can watch one of these videos while waiting for a new one. They are good too. Join my Discord server or play our game with links in description, and I will see you soon.